Hey guys, this is part 2 to discuss how communication flows. So the first thing that we really need to talk about when we think of communication flowing is the use of hegemonic structures. So there are two main types of ideological apparatuses we live in. The ideological state apparatus is one that's based around rule, law, or morality in order to construct its idealized citizen. It operates in a defined area without the threat of physical repression. So you go to school wherein you are socialized to do certain things. You are expected to get good grades, to get a good job. It appeals to the cultural ethos at the time as well, so things like reduce, reuse, recycle just appeals to the common sense of citizens in order to make them environmentally conscious. Those sorts of things are ideological state apparatuses. Yet because it is fueled by the ethos at the time, it can also give you something to expect from the central power, such as in a job, a happy worker is a busy worker. So employers have a vested interest in keeping you, the employee, happy so you can do the best job, which gives you some basis for advocacy. The other type is a repressive state apparatus, which is this.
Very Christian. Believe what I say or I'll hurt you.
Now you're getting it. On three. 1, 2.
There she is, officers, right there. I told you to stop chatting with your friends, didn't I, Leslie? You see, officers, apparently Leslie thinks that talking to her friends is more important than learning about diversity in third world countries. It's that one. That's her right there. You remove her from my...
So this is a sign, this is a signifier, which is the associated word of that sign, and here are just some of the things that could pop into your head as a signified with relation to this sign. argue that we subconsciously reinforce ideology through hailing. And nowhere is this truer than a classroom. You have a spot where you need to sit and you just do it. Through hailing and rules, we ensure complacency and that the same teachings will be passed down, thus creating a loop or a circle. In a traditional Socratic method, this is incredibly prevalent. When we look at things like a classroom, the hails are very, very difficult to challenge, especially in, say, a university setting. I work predominantly as a teacher's aide in a class that challenges these ideals. We sit in a circle, and if anyone has anything to say, they are encouraged to blurt out what they're feeling, because this course is all about ideologies. So it is very, very difficult for me to consciously say to someone, please do not raise your hand. We will not acknowledge you if you do. Just shout out your opinion in a respectful way. You know what that is subconsciously. And people will look at you with the most dumbfounded look on your face, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And it's because of the ideological hailing that they have been inundated to their entire life. This is the stuff that society wants passed down, and whether we like it or not, it will be passed down. I mean, look at no smoking, for example. How did we get to a spot where smoking was bad? Well, we appealed to the cultural ethos. We changed it gradually through discourse, ideology, and hailing. How did we hail? Simple. We targeted the kids. We told them why smoking is bad. We told them all the health risks. They went home. They shamed their parents. It's a reproducing cycle, just like power, from a multiplicity of sources. Almost like a sphere, a public sphere. So how do all these things link together? There are many, 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 many different ways. And I think the best way to explain it is through the one, the only, the Galactic Empire. Now the Empire is by definition a hegemonic structure. It is ruled by this guy, whose second in command is this guy, and they together control the military force, which are these guys. Now the Empire is a hegemonic structure. It passes down rules and laws which all citizens of the Star Wars galaxy must follow for threat of death. And I mean that quite literally. They've killed thousands of people inside of these movies. They are by definition a repressive state apparatus. You cannot oppose the Empire without risking your life. But that isn't the only way they'll create their idealized citizen. So the Empire was also really good at creating signs, much like this one, Rebel Scum. Now what this would do for a citizen is paint the image of a rebel as lesser than the Empire, by associating them with the word scum. What do you think of when you think of the word scum? Ugh, you just don't want to be around it. Rather than being a loyal Empire soldier, which is the idealized citizen that the Empire wished to create. And we can see this sort of ideology seep into the language as well, because if these images are repeated, it will inevitably cycle through, creating more and more citizens. Look at this scene from Return of the Jedi. Through the use of signs, language, and military force, the Empire is creating its idealized citizen, one who is either loyal to the Empire and wants to die for it, or one that is too afraid to do anything. There are citizens who do not fit this mold. There has to be. They are the rebels. They are attempting to change the public sphere and the public discourse. How? By appealing to the cultural ethos of the people who are disenfranchised and afraid, and finding people who share their opinion in order to effectively challenge the notions of language and ideology that are prevalent within the Empire. In short, they want to challenge the power structure. They want to take the Empire out. And through the utilization of their own signs, symbols, signifiers, signified, through their own ideological state apparatus which states equality, that the galaxy should be free for all people. They are challenging the discourses set out by the Empire, and in general the public sphere, which contends to the idea that power can be challenged from the periphery. The rebels are not nearly as equipped as the Empire, yet they are still able to use the same methods of signs, repetition, and other techniques to hail citizens to become their soldiers, to join their side, which is the definition of semiotics, and through the use of ethos, logos, and pathos, they have been able to create a discourse which reigns true throughout the public, causing people to join up with their side for a better tomorrow. That is the power of communication. That is how communication flows. And that is the end of Part 2. Join me next time for Part 3 to determine how do we absorb all of these messages. See you soon.